My focus in my daily work is mostly how I can be a voice for the voiceless because I speak on behalf of the hundreds of thousands of women who are rape victim abuse in the northern part of Ethiopia and the children who are being a victim of war recently.
Mostly violence against the LGBTI community, including killings and death, but also police violence, racism, gender-based violence, destruction of environment, and the right to education and alimentation and so on.
Our work in human rights defender is, you know that since 50 years in eastern of DRC, we have the war, and that is is do we are confronted by many situations like massacre of civilian, like a child who be take it and bring it in his movement, like women be rapid, is kind of that we live, and all of us who population is be displaced and live in difficult situation in the camp.
Activists of civil society organization who deal with several engagement in some area like peace building, interreligious dialogue, and engaging youth participation in decision making.
So, my main focus as a human rights defender in Bosnia and Herzegovina is media. So, through my work with civil society organizations and independent media, I try to provide them with adequate legal support in battling SLAPs, which are targeting more and more independent media, but also in environmental activists, academics, and citizens in the whole country. The second focus is on combating online hate narratives and hate speech targeting female journalists, which have been reporting about organized crime, corruption, and other topics of the high interest for my country.
To learn how to advocate, also to learn the involvement of European Parliament, how they can help, because European Parliament is a big political organization that focus mostly in human rights and a lot of Saharan area in Africa. And me being from Ethiopia, I want to learn more on how involved they are and how they can help to the crisis that's happening in Ethiopia on the northern part of Tigray. To learn how the other human rights defenders, how they do their work, and to get their experience to make me a better activist.
First, build a stronger knowledge in human rights issues. Second, to create networking, because I think it's really important when we are working towards the promotion of human rights. And third, to build the ability to negotiate in a political level.
I applied to the Sakharov Fellowship because we are human rights defender, and is an opportunity who give to all of human rights defender around the world, and I can't miss it to apply for that because is the occasion who give to human rights defender to be in contact with all of us people who can be selected, and to share his experience, and to share experience and to get improve in knowledge, and to do advocacy of European Parliament, and another who are be passionate of human rights situation. That is our motivation to apply for that.
The Sakharov Fellowship was one of opportunity and also one of my goals to understand and to go deeper with human rights, specifically in EU Parliament, and as well to build the collaboration and network for better, inclusive, and good perspective as NGO.
So the Sakharov Fellowship program has opened me a door, actually many doors, in the European Parliament. It helped me to connect with members of the Parliament, with its different committees, but as well as other bodies of European Union to lobby, to advocate, and to contribute to better human rights protection in Bosnia and Herzegovina, and to get to know how the system actually works, which institutions, which persons within the EU are the ones who should be targeted when lobbying for better human rights protection as part of the external action of the European Union. Another reason why I applied for the fellowship is amazing opportunity to connect, to share, and to learn from experience of other 13 fellows who have been coming from all across the globe. And finally, the fellowship for me is important since Bosnia has recently become an EU candidate for the EU membership. So the fellowship is a way how the EU has been trying to attract and include the Bosnian citizens into the EU process.
Yes, the human rights school here in Venice, I was actually, it was a humbling experience for me. It was humbling news for me to hear I will be at the school and I will be with other, not just human rights defenders, but with other students who will be joining us from different countries. I was very excited, and I believe 100% it will help me to grow more on how I can be a great advocate, and also to know more the European Parliament and the UN, how they work and how I can approach them.
I strongly believe it can help me to support the work on my daily basis, because not only the network you build, but also the tools we get by listening, by discussing, by changing, by exchanging instruments and experience. It can help us a lot. It can help me a lot, and I can also replicate that within my community back in Brazil, especially the transgender woman who lives in favelas.
Yeah, this occasion in Venice school, he can help us because we have seen testimonial for human rights defender who work in difficult situation like us, and we see that it is the occasion to revolution our work, because we can improve our work when we can go back in our country, because some situation is our situation is like situation of Ukraine and another place who we have many difficult to promote human rights.
This is my purpose, and this is one of my biggest aim and goals, to build the network and collaboration to further our work, not in the national level, but also in region and international level as well, and to have more opportunities for our civil society engagement, for our youth, and all the community members that need to be supported to promote the human rights.
Yes, so I hope, and I'm looking forward to the Venice School as a place of discussion, as a place of debates on how, and the base where and the place where we can exchange the best practices in defending human rights worldwide. And I'm looking forward to learning more, but as well as sharing Bosnian experience, especially when it comes to defending human rights in conflict areas and in post-conflict societies.
The impact I want to bring to my community from the Venice School of Human Rights is that I want to advocate more for the women rights and the children who are being a war victim on the northern part of Ethiopia in Tigray.
I think the most important impact is to have a transgender person here sit speaking to you, all of you. And I think it encouraged other girls to be part of this, to engage in their fight, in the fight for their rights, to engage in the fight for create a better world. So being here, being visible, speaking to my community, speaking to my friends, creating networks, talking to politicians, talking to diplomats, as someone as I am, it's really meaningful and it can bring impact, a broader impact to my community because I can inspire others.
Yeah, the impact is now we can change situation. We can change the the we can change how we work, because I see that the media he have a good power to share with all of us people around the world the situation of violation of human rights. Because when we were in Brussels, I talked with some European Parliament who don't know the situation of our country. But when I go back, I can promote to share every situation in the media and to be promote that kind of work to share with another. We can help to know the situation and the situation of violation of human rights in our country and in our work for every day.
What I want to bring to my country is to have a more inclusive members of community, not in national level, but also in global level, related to the issues who are against promoting human rights and building a good narratives of human rights.
So as an academic, I'm looking forward into expanding my skills when it comes to teaching about human rights back in formal format like at the faculty, but also in different non-formal formats like summer school, seminars, etc. And I hope that in such way I would make a greater impact when it comes to human rights education, but also human rights protection in the Bosnia and Herzegovina. On the second hand, I really hope that the skills and the knowledge which I'm about to gain at the school are going to be very much useful for my practical work as a lawyer before the courts in Bosnia and Herzegovina, but also before international bodies such as, for example, UN human rights bodies.
As a human being, let us stand with the women of Tigray on the northern part of Ethiopia who have been a victim of weaponized rape, and with the children of Tigray who have been a victim of a war crime.
Transgender women in Brazil face huge challenges to have their rights guaranteed. We have to fight against police violence, we have to fight against racism, we have to fight against physical assaults. So what the call I am here now doing is join our fight. You don't need to be transgender to promote a better world. You don't need to be black to fight against racism. So we can gather together and work towards building a world that is a world for everyone, for me, for you, and for the future.
This is opportunity to call everyone who have a goodness to support human rights defender who work in difficult situation, to help to improve our capacity, because we live in area who people have suffering, and he promote violence, and is our call to help us to promote education for human rights, to change the mind of a new generation, because that can help to promote the human rights on the future in our country and in DRC in general.
Together we can do much better than we are doing in local level.
The call targets EU and EU Parliament, appealing to the Parliament and to the Council to adopt as good as possible regulation on slabs, since it will be more or less copy-paste in Bosnia and Herzegovina. So as good as EU legislation in regarding the slabs is, that good is going to be a Bosnian legislation, and I hope its implementation.
Thank you,
Tchau,
Michelle.
pessoal. Obrigada.
Exemplo.